All right, let's get this out of the way. I know the first thing you thought when you saw the title, your mind went straight to physical intimacy, didn't it? Positions, techniques, and maybe a little experimentation. Look, I'm not judging because, first, who am I to judge? Second, I would have done the same thing. But here's the twist. This episode isn't about sex. Well, not entirely. It's about something deeper. This might be the most provocative conversation you've had in a long time. So buckle up. Today we're talking about the most underrated, overlooked, and dare I say, life-changing intimate positions. Vulnerability. That's right. Completely raw, honest, and exposed, not just physically, but in addition, emotionally. And this isn't your average pseudo TED Talk that you probably heard before. Stay with me on this one. We're taking it a little further today. Vulnerability isn't just some self-help buzzword. It's actually the gateway drug to the deepest pleasure, comfort, and even connection you'll ever feel with another human being, and most importantly with yourself. But here's the thing about all that. You can't truly understand vulnerability's superpower unless you're free and at peace with the relationship that you're supposed to be developing with yourself. I mean, really knowing yourself. Like, when I tell people that I care more about being a whole man instead of a good man, this is what I mean. Knowing myself holistically, embracing all the messy, imperfect parts, and understanding that, yeah, it's okay to not always have it all together. Because if you're not there yet, if you're still hiding behind perfectionism or fear, shame, whatever you want to call it, vulnerability, it won't feel like a gateway to a connection. It's going to feel like that standing naked in front of the classroom. Lights cranked up to maximum brightness. So, in further breaking this down, think about the moments where you felt closest to someone, whether it was a romantic partner, a best friend, or even a family member. It wasn't the time you had the perfect interaction with them, because that doesn't exist. Or when you felt like you were firing on all cylinders, you was looking good, you was feeling good, you was talking that talk. It was probably that time that you broke down crying over something that you've kept bottled up for years. Or when you admitted, hey, I'm not really feeling my best right now. I'm not really okay like I said I am. Or just flat out saying I need help. Or maybe it was when you shared that secret that you swore you never tell anyone because, like the elders in my family like to say, you were shamefaced about it. And instead of being judged, you were actually met with acceptance. That's vulnerability. That's intimacy in its purest form. But the caveat to that is that you can't expect someone else to go deep with you unless you're willing to go there with yourself. That's why we have so many shallow interactions in the world, I feel, because as my grandmother used to say, people can only meet you at the level that they have met themselves. Meaning that if you haven't explored yourself and understood yourself, you won't be understanding of someone else, at least past whatever depths that you've allowed yourself to swim in. Vulnerability starts with you. How can you ask someone to love you fully if you're hiding parts of yourself? How can you crave a soul connection when you got your guard up 24/7? Vulnerability says, here I am. Messy, flawed, maybe a little toxic, but guess what? I'm beautiful. I have pure intentions. I respect you, and I accept you. So when it comes to me, take it or leave it. And that's courage. That's courage to just put yourself on Front Street and say, hey, this is who I am. If you rock with it, cool. If you don't, I totally understand. Because flipping that on its head, you're not going to rock with people. You can accept someone. I always say I can accept a person, but that doesn't mean I got to hang around, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it's scary because what if they do leave it? What if you bare your soul to someone and they just walk away? That fear is real. But let me flip that to you. What if they stay? What if they lean in, see you, all of you, in spite of what you may feel like you lack, in spite of these wounds that you have that make you feel like you might be damaged goods or whatever has happened to you? What if they choose to hold space for you in spite of that? That's the stuff we live for. That's where the real, as they say, magic happens. Now, I know what you're saying, and I get it. Being real, vulnerability isn't sexy, at least 100% of the time. It's not always Instagram worthy. It's a lot of the time ugly crying at 2 a.m. I'm talking about snot coming out of your nose, looking like Roscoe from Martin doing doing one of those numbers. It's admitting you messed up, or having that feeling of saying I love you first to someone and waiting in that excruciating silence for a response. But here's the thing. The deepest love, the greatest pleasure, the most profound connection, they don't live in those safe spots, polished spaces all the time, those surface level interactions. They live in those raw, unfiltered moments where you risk being seen and met with nothing but love and understanding. So let's reframe the vulnerability. It's not weakness. It's not a flaw. It is a superpower. It's the most intimate position you can take with another person or with yourself. It's the one that unlocks everything we're really looking for. Respect, love, trust, joy, understanding, and peace. But like with everything, it starts with you. It starts with standing in front in the metaphorical mirror, or you can even do it in the mirror, and saying, I love you, I see you, and I'm ready to let someone else see you too. Is it scary? Hell yeah. But is it worth it? Absolutely. All right, so before I close this out, I got some homework for you. I know Professor Logan got a little homework for you, but y'all'll be all right. I want you to think about one area of your life where you've been holding back. Maybe there's a truth you haven't shared, a feeling you've been too scared to admit, or a mask you're afraid to take off. Start small, but start. Share it with someone you trust, even if right now the only person that you trust is yourself. Because after all, we do hide things from ourselves. See how it feels. Notice what happens when you let yourself be truly seen. Thank you for listening, my dear friends.